Hi, it's the neurodivergent Gen X unemployed software developer with depression and anxiety, but some call me Tim. If you don't get that reference, by the way, it's from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You should go look it up. It's just amazing. And I think the story goes that John Cleese had this ridiculously long name for his character when he exploded into flames and showed up and was throwing fireballs everywhere. And they said, my name is... And he couldn't remember what his name was. It was this long thing. So he just said, some call me Tim. Completely random. And so all my friends make fun of me for that. So why not let everyone make fun of me like that? And now that I've said all that, I forgot what I wanted to talk about. Oh, right. I was in the Army for 9.5 years as a musician. And I talk about my time in the military very positively to most people. I don't ever talk about any of the bad stuff. I only talk about the good stuff. I want to make sure that my position is clear. I would never, ever join the military again if I could. While I made a couple of lifelong friends, and they know who they are, most of the people, I would say 80% of the people that I knew in the military were human garbage. I mean, they were just the worst. They were either so dumb, they were an idiocracy kind of person, or they were so scared, sad little men who needed power to feel anything. I mean, I can't imagine how small their dicks were, but they must have been like micro penises, the way they had to bully others to feel good about themselves. And I don't really like bullies, but, you know, I'm a tiny guy. What am I going to do? Just ignore them. You can't ignore them in the military because they're in charge of you. You don't get promoted, at least in the Army, by being a good person. You get promoted by paying somebody to press your uniform and shine your shoes. That's it. You look squared away. You must be top notch. You know, you can be a complete piece of garbage and be in charge of people in the military. And it's just getting worse. The military looks very soft to me now. I look back at what I did. You know, when I went to Air Assault School, it was at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and it was the old way where you wore boots and you had to run everywhere and they yelled at you. And, you know, it was just the worst 2 weeks of my life. You had to run everywhere you went in boots, 12 hours a day. You couldn't walk. At the end of the day, you had to put your rucksack on, which was full of crap, and you had to do 10 pull-ups before you could leave. You couldn't even get to the damn bar by that point. You were so exhausted. And so, yeah, everybody had to help each other go up. I can imagine, I know they switched to sneakers at some point. It's probably really easy to do and completely meaningless to get your wings. But, you know, that's just my opinion. I got out of the military in 2001, a month before 9/11. So, you know, it's been a long time since I was there. And I just wanted to say to anybody who's thinking, oh, that sounded like a great thing. It wasn't. I only went for the college money. Why did I stay in for 9.5 years? Because I went to get out, and then they said, well, you can go to Italy. Okay. And then they said, well, we're going to send you to, I don't remember where it was. And I said, nope. I said, if you don't send me to Germany, I'm getting out. And they sent me to Germany. And then I got out. It was for medical reasons. At that point, it seemed dumb not to stay in for another 10 years and retire, but I was medically discharged. So, you know, it is what it is. But I just want to make it clear that I think serving in the armed forces is a fool's errand, especially today when a college degree is meaningless. It's sad because then who is going to defend our United States? I don't know. But the way the military is now is wrong. And I think maybe they're going to have to change the way it works. I don't know. Peace.